In ancient times, when the world was young and gods walked with men, a child of great promise and doom was born unto the race of mortals. His name was Achilles, son of the warrior Peleus and the sea nymph Thetis. Zeus himself, king of Olympus, desired Thetis, but a prophecy predicted that her son would surpass his own father's greatness. Therefore, it was decided that she must marry a mortal, and the choice fell upon Peleus, a man known for his bravery and honor. Thetis sought to make Achilles immortal by dipping him in the Styx, a river of unbreakable oaths, holding him by the heel. Hence every part of him became invulnerable except for the small heel. His father Peleus taught him the ways of men, to plow the earth and sow the seed, to speak the truth and keep his word, to stand with honor and fall with grace. But his mother, whose essence was the ever-shifting temperament of the sea, imparted to him ancient melodies, the dialect of dolphins, celestial pathways, and the secrets concealed in the ocean's depths. In time, Achilles found a mentor in Chiron, the wisest of centaurs. Amid the shaded glens of Mount Pelion, where the world often hung between twilight and dawn under ancient trees, Achilles learned the art of healing herbs and the secrets of the immortal beasts. Chiron's teachings were grueling, and Achilles, though swift of foot and keen of mind, often found himself bested by the challenges set before him. But within his chest beat the heart of a lion, and he did not waver. Yet for all his strength and skill, a shadow lay upon his heart, for Thetis often came to him in dreams, her eyes brimming with the sorrow of the sea, whispering of a glory as fleeting as foam on the waves. And though he pressed her for meaning, she would only sigh, a sound like the wind over a grave, and fade into the mists of sleep. His youth set the stage for a tale of mighty accomplishments and profound sorrows. As he matured, tensions escalated among the kingdoms of men. Whispers of a magnificent city, Troy, with wealth rivaling a bountiful harvest and a proud and resolute king, Priam, started to circulate. Achilles, now a young man, stood upon the shores of Phthia, gazing at the horizon where the sky kissed the sea. He knew not what the fate had in store for him, but he felt the call of something great and terrible, a path that would lead him to undying fame and into the shadowy realms of death. At the crack of dawn, as the world waited in anticipation, Achilles' story at the gates of Troy began. In those days, the stirrings of war did not come swiftly as a storm upon the sea, but rather as a slow kindling of embers that would soon be a conflagration. The name of Helen of Sparta, whose beauty was as that of a goddess, had reached the ears of all men, and her abduction by Paris of Troy was as a spark upon the dry tinder of their desires and fears. Achilles, whose name was already whispered in the halls of kings and sung in the taverns of warriors, was sought after by the Achaean leaders. They knew well the prophecy that Troy could not fall without him. Yet the heart of Achilles was troubled, for his mother's foreboding words were ever present in his mind, and he sought her counsel. Thetis, with eyes mournful as the deep from whence she came, held her son close and spoke of two fates that lay before him. If he stayed from the war, his life would be long, his end peaceful, and his name forgotten. If he went to Troy, his life would be short, but his glory would be eternal. The choice lay heavy upon him, for in his breast beat the heart of a warrior, and the longing for undying fame was his sire's blood within him. And so, with a heart laden with the weight of his decision, Achilles chose the path of glory. He joined the mighty host of Agamemnon, and with his Myrmidon warriors, sailed for the shores of Troy. Over time, the siege of Troy turned into a rich story filled with the actions of gods and men. Achilles, the swift-footed, became a terror to the Trojans, his spear as deadly as the scythe of Cronus. Yet with each passing day, the shadow upon his heart grew darker, for war was not as the songs had promised. Achilles' wrath was terrible to behold, and none could stand before him, but his soul grew weary with the weight of lives taken. And in his wrath he quarreled with Agamemnon, withdrawing his arm from the fray, his Myrmidons idle beside their black ships. In his absence the tide of war turned, and the Achaeans suffered great losses. It was Patroclus, dear as a brother to Achilles, who donned the hero's armor and led the Myrmidons back into battle, hoping to turn the tide. But the gods are capricious, and Patroclus fell to the spear of Hector, the noblest of the Trojans. The grief of Achilles was a tempest that none could soothe. With a heart aflame with vengeance, he returned to the battle, his only desire to face Hector before the walls of Troy. When at last they met, it was as if the very fates themselves paused to watch. Their duel was long and fierce, but in the end, Hector fell, and Achilles' vengeance was complete. Yet the death of Hector did not ease Achilles' sorrow. He knew the prophecy of his own doom approached, the shadow of his mortality ever at his side. He fought on, a force of nature, unstoppable, until Paris, aided by Apollo, shot an arrow that found the only chink in Achilles' armor, the heel his mother had held. As he lay upon the blood-soaked earth, the glory for which he had yearned seemed as ashes in his mouth. His life ebbed away, and with it the rage and the sorrow. In his last breath there was a peace, as if the sea that had borne his mother had come to claim him, to carry him away from the world of men and their petty strifes. Achilles passed into legend, his name immortal as he had wished, his story told and retold through ages and across seas. The end.